are, what is this? 7 lines from the top on page Mem Aleph. The line starts with vegum. Guva hashpah bo v'kin esirim tzimzum. Pointed out that the hashpah comes from a tzimzum. There is the Indian oil that represents the atzmi. That oil is not tzimzum, but that oil does not have the effect of hashpah, just representing the presence of the atzmi. And therefore, from that oil will not come seichel, for example. Seichel has to be mislabish into the mushba so that he understands his Indian. That will not have that effect. Like we said the other day, understand it because I understand this. That's not gonna help. No matter how dedicated the mushba is. The tzimzum, and the tzimzum, when you say, is like, it is a focused flow for the purpose of hashpah. It's mislabish and mushba. This is affected by the Ratzon. The principle of Ratzon we already discussed. I don't remember. I wanted to hear yesterday's because there's an important point here. I may have pointed out yesterday. Ratzon is where the oil of the atzmi is transformed by identifying certain principal quality in it. Which is Ratzon. I want, even though we do not ask why do you want, but we say what do you want. This what do you want means that there is an identity, and this what do you want? This enables further tzimzum and hashpah. But the atzmi, from the perspective that it's an atzmi means that it is entirely in its own reality. There is no identity of what he is. Doesn't have to identify to himself. A human being, from that atzmi, does not have to identify himself that he is a human being. When it comes to Ratzon, what do you want, and seichel, he has to know. He has to know himself. But to be himself, he doesn't know him. He doesn't have to know himself. So to speak, to live, he doesn't have to know what he is. And this is Ratzon. Ratzon identifies the atzmi, in a perspective. And this is why from the Ratzon can come hashpah. And because it goes to the tzimzum, so therefore the hashpah has a limit, how far it can extend, and also it has a form. Now we continue on that same line towards the end of the line. Therefore, hashpah has seichel shebederech eir chozer. The hashpah of seichel that comes b'derech oir chozer me'hakoyach atzmi, which is emanating, which comes from the koyach atzmi, hu b'li gvul. That seichel is b'li gvul. Now we can understand the significance of this oir chozer.
I'm sorry, where are we? Where are we?
On page Aleph,
Yeah.
7 lines from the top. hashpah aseichel b'derech oil chozer me'akecho atzmi hu b'li gvul mipnei shesham ein ha-tzimzum kol kach, because there is the tzimzum. There's not such an effective tzimzum. I said now we can understand what this oil chozer is. Normally, the normal hashpah haseichel is that there's a Ratzon hashpah, and the Ratzon is already mitzamtzem and defines the seichel, defines what he wants to be mashpia, and from this comes the seichel. Therefore, it's mugbal mitzumtzem. Oil chozer is a response to the makabel, response to the situation. It's not inside the Ratzon. It is something that touches the very etzim of the etzim haseichel. L'akecho atzmi. It is not planned out. What am I going to say? He just responds from the kecho atzmi, and therefore it's b'likbu. Because there the tzimzum is not that heavily effective. Because the hashpah does not come through a planned process. Here is what I'm going to say. It is response to the makabel. Therefore, it is not pre-planned. It is not that much pre-planned. It's not. The tzimzum is not that effective. But nevertheless, even there, gam zehu hashpah b'rotzon. Gam zehu hashpah b'rotzon. That hashpah, even though it comes from koyach atzmi, so you would think that it bypasses the Ratzon completely. That is not what happens. It is hashpah b'rotzon. As a matter of fact, the reason that he responds to the mushpah, says, no, I don't understand, or he has a kasha. The reason he responds is because of the Ratzon. Otherwise, he would just ignore it. Because from etzim, the atzmi is not affected by the whole phenomenon of kashas. So therefore, it is to the Ratzon, and since it is to the Ratzon, there is a certain form to it. It is not the way it is in the etzim, but it's not in tzimzum kol kach. The tzimzum is not that effective. Because the hashpah itself is a direct response to the question. Okay. So we have concluded the inyan of hashpah ruchnis, of seichel and so forth, and pointed out that hashpah ruchnis comes through a tzimzum, and therefore its effect is mugbal. Both the message, what the content is mugbal, and the effect of it is mugbal, the spashus is mugbal. And for this reason, it cannot really effectuate a new seichel in the makabel. It can only bring out his own seichel. And even in the oil chozer, it touches the etzim of the koyach haseichel of the makabel, but it has the koyach haseichel. Otherwise, it will not have any effect. Okay, now we continue. Ma she'en kein hashpah leheili b'doimeh. Where, in contrast to that, we have to understand what happens in hashpah lehoilid b'doimeh. The hashpah that that is for the purpose of giving birth, a replication, bedoime, a likeness. This is literally a hashpah atzmis, and hashpah that represents the presence of the etzem, which means shenimshach etzem umehuz hadover. That here the hashpah is not a oir, not even an oir atzmi, but it is the etzem umehuz hadover. The very essence of mahuz and the reality of the thing itself, the reality of the human being itself. We have now a means to understand the expression hashpah lechorid b'doima, which we attempted many times in the past. What is the emphasis lechorid b'doima? A likeness. We, in our simple thing of mind, we would say lechorid, to create a new person. What is lechorid b'doima? Okay, we have time, and I'd like to elaborate on this.
What does lechorid mean? Lechorid means?
Lechorid?
Yeah.
To give birth.
Okay.
And we will understand it clearly on the basis of what we discussed all the time. The principle that it says that the Ratzon to be is not the Ratzon to be. The Ratzon to be what he is. Why? We explained why does he want to be what he is? Why doesn't he want to be somebody else? Any human being, a normal human being, ask him, look, this guy over there is more handsome. Would you like to be like him? He says, no, are you crazy? And we explained why. Because the principle of kiyum, to be, is not just to be. What for? Where is the spirit coming from? Because rather he is to be himself. Why be himself? Because in this Indian that be himself, the godly influence, the godly gift has been defined to him through that form. This is the godly reality to him. Therefore, this goes beyond his own presence. This is the godly reality as expressed in him. And this is why he wants it. Because he senses his own reality. Not just to be. This is the stupidest thing to say.
His godly gift is defined for him in this form.
Yeah.
That is to say, he sees in himself a reflection. He's very content. The best thing he could be is himself, because that's the reflection of.
This is the reality. This is how he identifies godly reality.
Well, he wants to be his best self. I mean, just being yourself is kind of just being self.
Being himself must mean his best self. Best self, this is a different thing. What?
Because we had before, he wants to be what God has made him.
Yeah, that's it. He wants to be what God made him. Why? Why does he want to be what God made him? What's behind it?
Right, I guess he's sensing the godly purpose of
that's
that
right. This is where he identifies with the godly presence. This is reality to him. And this is the principle hashpah lechorid b'doima. It's not hashpah lechorid. It's hashpah lechorid b'doima. Because in this l'hored b'doimah, this is where the likeness, this is where he senses that there's reality to life. And this is why he wants to be mashpia. So in that hashpah, this is hashpah atzmis. This is etzem hus hadover is nimshach. Because this is representing, and it comes from his own personal identity. This is not what he wants, what he understands. This is what he is. There are several points that are significant in this, very quickly. There is an intent. There is a hashpah. It is not an inadvertent occurrence. The whole chayus that comes in this hashpah is a chayus of recognition of the reality of the Holy B'Daim. And what is behind it is this is his whole atzmi. Just as in hashpah seichel, there's a Ratzon, he wants to be mashpia. Why does he want to be mashpia? Because in this Ratzon he recognizes the significance of what he wants to be mashpia. And this is what gives him the highest to be mashpia. But there it is pre-identified by the Ratzon. Doesn't come directly from the Yetz. The Ratzon identifies the significance of this hashpah. Whereas hashpia l'hoyle b'doimah, it's also hashpah, but the initiator of that hashpah is not the Ratzon. The initiator of hashpah is his own mehus etzem. In his very presence, in his very mitzias, atzmius, he senses the significance of this. This is why, like I said, this is life. This is his own reality, and that's why l'hoyle b'doimah. This is hashpah atzmis. It's a hashpah that comes from the etzem. But the etzem gives itself over, not by the intervening effect of the Ratzon. Why does the etzem want to be mashpia? Because this is the Holy Daima. This is the godly reality.
So even by seichel there has to be a Ratzon. It's a yashar. Even seichel atzmi has to be touched.
Even though, right? Even chozer.
Right.
Also goes to the Ratzon.
It has to be touched. It won't just come. It won't just come from the etzem koicha atzmi. It won't just come. It has to be touched by the inyan of or chozer. And now you have the etzem mamish.
He's touched him. Yeah, we said he's touched because he wants to be mashpia. There's the Ratzon, the intervening. Ratzon defines. Ratzon defines that this is a worthwhile hashpah.
So how can there be hamshacha from hashpah from the etzem mamish and no Ratzon?
That's what we explained before. To himself, does he live because he wants to live?
He wants to live.
He wants to live. This is already a gili of that, of the etzem. But to himself, he lives because he's real. There is not a contemplation. Should I not live? That question does not exist in the atzmi. Why? Because this is something which is not even of his making. This is a making of his creator.
Hashpah from the atzmi is an Indian atzmi?
Yes. That's what we're saying. The atzmi mahus hadov es nimshach. I'll try again because I tried many times to identify the word mahus, which is not an easy thing. Altogether, the whole word etzem is very difficult for us to comprehend because it's not in the worldly vocabulary. In the world, everything is functional. This is why we have this craziness going on. Please understand, the word mahus is a direct reference to the creator. Mahus, to properly translate it, simply means this: what did God create? What was God's intent in creating this entity here? This is a godly intent, not a function. It's a godly intent. Which made atzmi mahus. In other words, this hashpah, this will bring it clear. This hashpah, Ratzon, means I want to be mashpia. Because I understand what it is and I appreciate it and I'll be mashpia. Mahus does not come I, because that's real. There's a godly reality in this. This is what is going through in this hashpah. This is not my identification. This is the reality itself, the godly reality. Therefore, just as the godly reality creates me, that godly reality can creates another entity. Because it's a godly reality.
Create another and the doimeloi, so we said why it should be a replication.
Doimeloi, because this bedoimel, this is where the sense that this is the godly reality is sensed. Because where does a person God did not create entities without a significance, without a purpose. Without a purpose. It is not an evolutionary process that this person's on this way. There is a godly spark in every design, in every human being.
And
that identifies this human being uniquely from a godly perspective.
Which we had, right, and that's the will to be himself.
That's the will to be himself.
And also the will
and
to
this is, and that's why the holy is bedoima. Because this is where the godly element comes in. If it's the holy stam, then he's missing, then there's not a godly reality in it. Then it's like he says, he wants to be. wants to be, what's in it.
Oh, yeah.
Time is over, so therefore we can kind of
take more time.
whittle around. Yeah. A human being. Think about this. I mean, people go and they do a facial, and they change their appearance. What do you think of that human being?
Changing their appearance.
Yeah.
Very cool.
I'm not talking about somebody is deformed. Somebody is a normal form, but he likes another kind of nose. What do you think of that? This human being is not for real. He lives through other people's eyes. What?
But why does it need to be Bedoim Eloi? It could be like the son, like the chemo and the chemo of the son. Why does it need to be Bedoim Eloi to the father?
Because the father is one who begets him. The father is mashpia. Where is hashpah coming from? Hashpah comes from the reality of what he is.
But I'm just asking, why can it be that the father wants to be mashpia should be another child in his way? Why does it need to be resembling the father?
Because then there is not an etzem reality. Why would he want to have something different? Because he does not really appreciate what God gave or what God made him. It doesn't relate to the godly reality.
So it comes to the same point. Same as we go to the Kiyimoi, same we want the child should also be the Kiyimoi.
Yeah, this is what we explained. This is why the doimale is emphasized, because this is where he appreciates the godly presence in him. This is what godly presence is recognized. Ein partsufeim shoves, ein deyeseim shoves. This is representing the godly presence in the world. And in everything there's a different kind of a creative godly spark.
Ein shave, but still doing it. They're not. Their thoughts are not alike.
Yeah. But in this bedoim eloi, this is where he senses his own reality. And this is why this, as another human being, essentially, he doesn't know the way he perceives what he is, but what he is, not what somebody else is, and not what he is through other people's eyes, but what he is in his own sense. That's what the daimon. And this is hashpah atzmi, and etzem whose adover is nimshechinus, because it represents the very his own very presence. Okay, now we have to interrupt. Have a good day, and we'll pick up in Mitzvah tomorrow. Have a good day. By the way, I just want to. What? I want to inform everyone that Baruch Hashem, our granddaughter became a Kala, and we're going to be a L'chaim Mitzvah tonight in the Baruch Hashem.
No,